Watch mentor and intern as they plan math, writing, and reading. Notice how they consider grouping, gradual release of responsibility, and connecting curriculum.
Yeah. So tell me about math.
Okay, so I graded the assessments from Friday that you guys took.
Oh, good. And you know there's a lot of people out, so we can't make up.
Yeah, I think there were like
It
5
was
out.
crazy.
But the 3 that I really wanted, the focus kids, were there. Like
Good.
we had them. Equivalent fractions, Ethan T and Savannah are the only 2 that really struggled, and their misconception is just with the bigger piece.
Well,
Like the bigger the denominator, they're saying they got more.
And looking at her attendance,
She wasn't there at all.
She's missed like 5 days in January, and it, it's a little crazy. So
Well, she wasn't there all last week either for the timelines. But looking at timelines,
or
we
number
need
line, yeah.
work on it. So I thought we'd throw it on the common assessment and just see if we give them either a bubble choice or a fill in the blank or even one of both and just kind of see where they're falling with their misconceptions right now.
Well, do you think we need to stop and do a couple of days of just some things with number lines, just letting them manipulate them?
I
Or is
think
there
honestly
nothing
it was my fault on the assessment because I didn't give boxes. And I
gotcha,
feel like if I would have
gotcha.
given boxes to all these, they would have been
known
like,
to
okay,
put-
got it. Because a lot of them could figure out that 3/8 was equivalent to, or 6/8 was equivalent to 3/4.
Maybe they didn't think it was okay to put it here at the same place.
And so
Yeah.
I think that was my fault. And so I think that if we do that on Wednesday,
Yeah, it'll clear
we
it up.
could really kind of see where they're falling.
Okay. And then if not, if there's still a problem, then we
Then we
can,
can
we can
revisit
always
it.
take a few days off and just do some number line.
And you know,
manipulation.
okay, the frog one instead of this one was all timelines and number lines.
Which is, and we decided not to
Just
do
skip
that.
that. I know. No, I'm like,
Well, but we can, if after Wednesday it's still a problem, we can go back. We can go back. It's not gonna mess anything
I
up.
loved this one for today because it literally starts talking about money and it's like, okay, it's getting them ready for decimals. And I was like, that is perfect. Now today it's very open-ended. We literally put the posters up. We say this store is selling cat food for this much with these many cans and this store is doing that. Go figure it out. There's no daily chains. There's no mini lesson. It's just them figuring out today.
And why do you think day one is like that?
So that we could walk around and kind of see where each kid is.
It's just like a pre-assessment kind of thing for
Yeah.
the unit, but they don't call it that, and it's not like sit down with paper, pencil, and here's your pre-assessment stuff. Because we're gonna get more information on what they can do from watching them do this than here's your pre-assessment answer 1 through 10.
They gave 3 different strategies that they think the kids would use. I think all of our kids are going to use the third strategy.
one.
But it'll be interesting. So going into grouping, this is what we grouped on Friday. If we want to pull, I wouldn't pull a small group today if we really want to see.
I agree. Because we need to see what
Yeah.
they're doing. So we can just both walk around and take some notes.
So do we want to keep it heterogeneous like this, or do we want to mix it up? Ability groups so that we can really get.
I think keeping them like this is fine, because if we ability group them, that low group's gonna give us nothing.
Yeah.
They at least are gonna have, and there's at least somebody in each one who knows to kind of question the others and kind of get them. She's doing a pretty good job of that.
Okay, she's sick today though, and that won't work.
Well, we can move.
Where was
There's
it the
the
other
4.
group that we? Okay, they worked really well together, but they needed her in that group to be the stabilizer and just really kind of keep them on task.
And he's not gonna go
No.
anywhere. We don't need him anywhere.
And so that group I felt really good about.
But right here, these 2 are both really strong. We can
Uh-huh.
move one of them over there.
Would you move her over there because those 2
Yeah.
would chit chat?
Ethan's a little playful today.
Yeah, so let's move her over here. In fact, we can probably even keep that if when Alexis comes back too.
Well, and Ethan and Alexis work pretty good together if you needed to put another over here so it wouldn't be a 4 and a 2. Yeah, I think that'll work.
Okay. And that's everyone, right? Because everyone was here the day that we grouped.
8 through 6, 9. No, that's not right.
Savannah's not in
Christian.
here. Christian's right
Here.
there.
Savannah, we need to
Savannah.
add.
Why don't we add Savannah to Ethan's and Kaylee's?
Work, and then there's somebody else missing.
Sean May.
And Sean, yep. And actually, I really like him with Morgan.
I love him with Morgan.
Because she really makes him work and keeps him on his toes.
Today during Eagle Time, I made him go and take the assessment that he missed on Friday. Came back every single one correct.
Perfect.
And then same with time.
We need to talk to him about the move for
I talked to him about it today, and he was like, "Oh, I gotta go to computers." And I was like, "Yeah."
Did you tell Ethan yet?
No, I haven't.
Well, and this is something I need to ask them about for Eagle Time groups too, and I might put that on the next,
Agenda.
or
Yeah.
when we do the grade level planning, because
Yeah.
there's that spot with questions. What's happening is our top kids are going to that, they're doing the extra book club, and
Yeah.
they're loving the books they're doing, but they're hearing from that second group down who don't really need interventions either, that they're just playing on Chromebooks. And so Ethan's like, I wanna go do that. Well, so they almost need,
They need to switch up, like have
yes,
every,
I was thinking that, like, at the 9 weeks,
Yeah.
switch.
Yep.
And those kids could do it. It wouldn't be as easy maybe for the books, or at least have them do something like a little more purposeful.
Yeah.
So I need to remember to do that, which means I should put it on my to-do list that you may
I
forget.
know it's somewhere with my past lessons on it. Okay, Eagle Time 2. So we were doing equivalent fractions today, and I sat down with Allie and Ashley and started going over. They don't know their fast facts to save their lives. Kaylee's still missing hers. Keller is just like up in the air, and so we're
Multiplication.
yeah.
We're. And I did
doing
Friday.
fast facts.
I did more of those. And we're not gonna be able to put any more up on the wall until the fire marshal comes, because it's supposed to be an 18-inch from the wall. From the ceiling down, so I'm thinking we're just gonna hold off on sticking them up there.
That sounds wonderful.
But we did have some, Keller actually finished his 4s. Actually he did his 5s too, because that one's easy. And who else did you say? Kaylee didn't even take it, like she wasn't even ready, and I don't doubt it.
Well, I'm gonna just start hitting them hard with their fast
Oh,
facts,
good.
and they'll have to.
Well, that's what they need to.
So we're going back to square one, Eagle Time.
Okay, that works. Well, and the other, they can go.
They need it bad.
Mhm.
So that's math right now.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna try to print off the missed things that they did last week, but I
got
started to
that
pull it up last
website.
night and I didn't get to it. That's,
I
that
loved
one
this
was
one.
just from me, that's not the thing from Katie, but I found it had really neat stuff, and some of it may not be great, but there may be some resources in there that you could pull off and
Well, I
use.
love the accountable talk.
Uh-huh,
I thought that would be good just to print out and
Mhm.
just keep it back there for them to
Mhm.
see. And then I thought the graphic organizer for the character,
mhm.
I thought that one was really good too. And I liked how it said evidence and then you had to find it in the text. I
Yeah.
thought that was,
That's great.
yeah.
Well, and did you see the, when you click the X, but they have other lessons, so if you click the arrow, it'll have different lessons with it, and so there might be other resources
Yep.
in all that too, that you,
Awesome.
but I found a few things I might use for the reading. As far as the writing goes, if we look at a rotation schedule for not today, but like starting tomorrow, then we could have like a group of 7, you could do 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, on the computer doing the mist.
Yeah.
And then the other 14 would be with us doing whatever, and we'd have to flip-flop it. But I think if they practice on the mist, from what the research said that Candace found, if the more they're on the mist, the better their scores are from, whoever made that up or found it, but that's what they say. So we could have them do that, and then the others, we could even just be conferring on with the commas or the
Yeah. Did you,
the
okay,
fragments on all those things too.
how, 3rd grade, how far did you guys go into commas? Like, do they know,
They
like, if I
did
say what a subordinate
series.
cause is?
Some of them may, they know, combining sentences with but and if and so and all those. Not all in the same level with adding the comma in there. They know it in a series, they know dates, they know, city, state. Not so good with putting it after the.
What about an intro?
No.
Okay. Well, I found this, and I mean, it's so textbook, but the information is amazing,
Uh-huh.
and the maps are what I loved in it.
That's perfect.
Because it hits the standard
Mhm.
perfect. And so I'm just gonna have them highlight today anytime they see a comma.
Yeah.
And then I thought tomorrow we could be like, okay, where did you notice commas? And have them teach me about,
Well, and it's gonna
what they
mean
know.
more to them if they see it and analyze it and then come up with the rule
Yes.
first, as opposed to saying, use a comma to do this, now go do it. It's gonna, and then they could write something and use it and we can look for it in their writing.
yeah, I thought that would be great. And this, I mean, this just fulfills
The social
social
studies,
studies,
yep,
so it
perfect.
works fine.
That'll be good. And do you think they'll be able to do all this today so that tomorrow?
I don't think so. I mean, science took them a while today, and so
Yeah.
I feel like they can get started on it today.
Well, and then as we rotate
tomorrow,
through and do.
we can even conference with the ones who aren't on the computer during that time. Just pull them
Yeah.
and do like mini lessons with.
based on what they
Yeah,
have.
yeah.
Which is gonna help them too, because being on the mist is gonna help them be familiar with the structure that they have to write and the tools and all that, but they need to meet with us so we can fix grammar and capitalization and sentence fragments and all that
Did
stuff.
you find? Okay, so I went to the link that Candace sent, and this is where. Is this where the mist was?
Yeah, from Katie. Right there, the grades 4, 5. And I think what she was trying to say, T in education, I think, and then the password is fastest improving. I think. Not bragging or anything.
No big
Password,
deal.
fastest improving. That's all right, I'm good. I think what she was saying was, the one we did was comparing and contrasting. I think she was saying last year they said it was that and that's what theirs were, but then they recently changed it so that we probably aren't comparing and contrasting. That we are probably
Wonderful.
just explaining something, which was what the space debris was. The first one we compared and contrasted, the
Okay,
second
so
one
I
was
was
space
here
debris.
for the Stonehenge, and they didn't do that one. Was really hard for some of them.
It was.
How is the second one?
I gotta print it out and see, not good, because
Okay.
it was the first time they had to type it on the mist, and so when you're typing in that little box, it looks like you've written a lot, but really, you haven't. So I think that's why we need to stick them on there, just so they get practice with seeing how long it is.
Did they write their things on Friday? Did they make it to the?
To type it, yes,
Can
and
we
they are,
show them that?
Yeah,
Because
that's a
I
great
feel like
idea.
when they even write them out, like their pages are huge, but then.
oh, it is, and then when you,
Yeah,
yeah, and that's what
and then you get like a
Yeah.
sentence.
So, I actually thought about cutting these off and putting them with their pictures up here.
Oh, good. that'd be
But we need to give them a grade first,
Yeah.
social studies and writing. So, yeah, that'd be a great idea for them to see that. And I want them to be comfortable with it, and I want them to do it, but I don't want to give up any reading, science, and math time, because to me, that's more important what's gonna
Yeah.
happen in April than what's gonna happen on this writing right now,
No, I
because
agree.
for this year anyway, next year.
Where's the mist getting scored at, and does that affect TVOS? Like, how does that work?
I don't think it's supposed to this year, but it will eventually.
Okay.
Reading, we're doing some nonfiction, and we're looking at the standard of, which I've tried to pull in a little bit with science too. We're gonna connect it both ways. I looked at some articles, that kind of got into Black History Month and that sort of thing, but I didn't want to, jump into that just yet, because sometimes
see on here?
it gets them a little confused when you,
It was you got on here and there's a 4th grade one on,
Yes.
the Ruby.
yes.
Yes.
And and when you look at all of it, it starts off with a Nelson Mandela article.
Okay.
And I understand her thinking she wants them to see it's a global thing, but I almost want to start off with here first and then
Yeah.
do the global
I
part.
think that's great.
I think I'm gonna wait and do the history with the nonfiction next week.
Okay.
And then this week, there's some in there on, animal endangerment, which is already ties into what we've already done with science, so they'll be familiar with it. But the article they had on there, you have to have a Scholastic News account, which I do not, so I've gotta find another one. But it was about endangered animals, and it's going to allow us to do this, standard. Explain events, procedures, ideas, or concepts in historical, scientific, or technical text. So we're gonna start with scientific, which is why I try to with the science
Yes,
time today.
yeah.
But also, next week we'll move it into doing it with historical. So
Awesome.
just being able to explain events. And I found a great graphic organizer we're gonna use. I have to download it over there too, but it just talks about explaining why. So why did this happen? What evidence from the text told you this is what happened? So we're gonna start off with endangered animals, they already know. Then we'll move into a couple of more. I actually have a good read aloud I'm gonna do, but I want to start off with a small article first.
So are we doing an article and they're doing a close read on it?
We're gonna do it all together today.
Okay.
I'm gonna model, we're gonna read it, we're gonna fill out the graphic organizer together, all together today. Then tomorrow, I'll slip it into their hands a little bit and let them start reading it, except for that group have to do it together.
Mhm.
So hopefully by the end of the week, they'll be able to read a scientific article and explain why certain events happened based on evidence from the text. And then we'll move into historical ones next
Should we
week.
do, okay, so the science when we gave them today, was that,
Totally separate, that's
Okay.
just erosion, but I wanted to connect all of it together.
Gotcha.
You know, they're gonna hear in science that we read a nonfiction text to explain why things happen, but in reading, we're really gonna be focusing on how to do that, so all